They say it's better to give than receive. If you don't believe it, try it, right? So get outside of your comfort zone. Our whole episode that Yona and I spoke about was on the power of this business in relationship to what it will allow you to give away. Anybody that tells you money can't buy happiness hasn't given enough of it away.
Your network is your net worth. Come listen to some of the most successful people I know share invaluable knowledge, stories, and advice in real estate, business, and beyond. This is Weiss Advice. Whether you want to take your business or personal life to the next level, look no further. Welcome back to a very special episode of Weiss Advice. This is the 200th episode, and I am so grateful to be joined by many past guests. And I am so grateful to all of them who have taken some time out of their day to join me. And if you guys are watching this live, you are very fortunate to have some of the greatest all-stars here, and just very grateful to all of you. My name is Yona Weiss. I'm the host. We have been doing this for about 18 months, and up to 200 episodes is quite astounding. And I could not have done this without the listeners, of course, you guys listening to this, and so much more so, all these incredible guests. So without further ado, what we're going to do is do a quick little round. We got a lot of people here, and I don't want to take everyone's time too much, and everyone's busy. But if you can, introduce yourself and remind us who you are so that our listeners remember, oh, yes, I loved his episode or her episode. That was amazing. Introduce yourself. And as Adam Gower, the doctor, has so fortunately blessed us with his knowledge and idea that summing up in a second, and I do want to get from each one of you, what's a piece of advice that you can give that's going to help you or help our listeners really crush it this year? So without further ado, I would love to introduce one by one the incredible episodes. And if you're listening to this and you listen to the podcast, so if you're watching live, please comment below in the comments how much you enjoy this and which episode you enjoyed the most. So without further ado, let's bring on Adam Gower from Gower Crowd.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having had me on the podcast in the first place and for today. Right. So I'm going to try and give you a quick synopsis of what we do, and then I'll give some advice.
Remember, you have 10 seconds starting
10
now.
seconds. Gower Crowd builds tailor-made crowdfunding platforms for real estate sponsors who want to raise more capital for their deals. We also have a newsletter that is the only real estate crowdfunding newsletter exclusively on real estate crowdfunding. And my advice to everybody on this call is figure out what is your catchphrase. What is it that summarizes what it is that you do in just a 6 to 7 words, because that is what you need to have as the main heading on your website.
Awesome. Incredible. Amazing. You guys, I hope you are taking notes. This is going to be good. Let's move right along to Rachel Richards.
Hey, Yona, thank you for having me back. Good to see all of you. I'll be super quick. So I am known as Money Honey Rachel. I empower female millennials to take control of their financial future with excitement and confidence. And my goal this year is to invest in a rental property in Denver, Colorado, and to invest in 5 to 10 syndications. My advice is you really have to figure out your bottleneck. You know, what's the obstacle getting in your way? For me, I have the money now, I have the knowledge, I have the confidence. Right now, it's about finding the time to make these goals a priority. If any of you have read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and know the time management matrix, I need to stick to quadrant 2 and focus on the not urgent, but important items that will help me reach my goals.
I think we all do. And that's incredible. So thank you for sharing that, Money Honey Rachel. Great to have you back. Thank you so much. We're going to move to, I'm very fortunate to have 3 Weisses here. And my good friend and brother from another mother, Russell Weiss, pointed that out to me just now. And we got my sister from another Mr., Allison Weiss. I got to give some priority to the Weisses. Sorry, guys. This is Weiss Advice. With all these Weisses, it's twice as nice. What can I say? Let's move to Allison.
Thrice is nice.
Thrice is nice.
Thank you so much, Yona, for having me. I am the CRE people person. I help driven commercial real estate professionals take their careers and companies to the next level. My piece of advice is to deeply connect to your why. And a book recommendation is Start With Why by Simon Sinek. My why is helping people. And I have an acronym that helps me to remember that. And that acronym is HOPE, help one person every day. And so for me, that's the measure of whether I've had a successful day or not. And it keeps me on track.
That is truly Weiss advice, because I literally say the same thing. So thank you. Glad we're on the same wavelength. And let's move it to another Weiss. Russell Yerachmiel Weiss, thank you for joining us.
And it's really easy for me because whatever I say is inevitably Weiss advice. So I'm a data nerd, and I've just stuck with that title because I got it in high school from the bullies. So I'm still a data nerd, but now I've sort of got nerd revenge. And I work in a bank focused on credit risk and fraud risk and using all those great data skills for optimizing credit decisions and fraud decisions. My advice, I think it's, now, especially with, in the world that we're living in today, a virtual world, it's very easy to kind of get stuck at a computer all day and not really interact with people. But I think it's super important to make it on your agenda every day that you're actually going to see real people and touch them and interact with the real world. And all the studies on that show that that's a critical part of longevity. So if you want to live a long life, you need to interact with other people. And even for a nerdy guy like me that likes to sit in front of a computer, I force myself every day to hang out with other people.
There you go. Love it. Love the Weiss advice. Thank you, Russell. Amazing. We're going to move to Gary Lipsky. Gary, I'm doing this a little bit randomly. I'll try to bring on the people who did jump on first. But Gary, what do you have to say?
Well, Yona, thanks for having me on. I love the show. And I'm with Break of Day Capital and author of the book, Best in Class. And my advice to everyone is to never stop learning. Don't worry about assets under management or how many units you do in a deal or have under management. Just keep on learning and you'll be set for life.
Amazing. Perfect. Love it. Moving right along, Zach Hapstonstall. I literally jokingly said before that when you were on, you had like 200 units, which wasn't entirely true. And now you have like 7,000, which is also not entirely true, but it's pretty close, right? But you have done incredible growth. So quick introduction. And what is your advice, Zach?
Yeah, no, thanks so much, Jonah. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it, man. And yeah, so we're owner operators in Phoenix, just doing value add multifamily for anybody who wants to invest in Phoenix. And my advice would be, if you're trying to be active, is just, do that first deal at all costs, whether it's a 5 unit, a 10 unit, do whatever you have to do, be relentless, don't really take crap from anybody, because a lot of people will tell you you can't do it. And it might take a year, 2 years, but just be kind of relentless in that pursuit and you'll get through there and you'll break through. So that's kind of our advice here. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Unbelievable. And I think you are a great leading example of that. Like you said, just take action, just jump in and do your deal. So thank you for that. Let's move on to Leka. Leka, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Yona, for having me. This is the best group, and I would rather be here than anywhere else. So I am an investor, developer, and awesome meetup host. And my advice is super basic. It is not profound at all, but it is something that everyone should do. Focus on building your passive income. As a very active investor for a very long time, I can tell you just from past experience that there's nothing like passive income. So thank you for having me.
There you go. Invest passively. Just get a start. I love that. Thank you so much, Leka. Moving right along, Elliott Indig is in Dig House.
Hey, Yona, how are you? Hey, everyone. My name is Elliott Indig. I am a transactional real estate attorney based in Michigan, do all sorts of real estate transactions. My goals for the coming year are twofold. One is to land at least 2 more 6-figure clients and to hire an associate if I can find anyone in this country who wants to work anymore. And second, and my advice is when you're making a business decision, do it with your mind, not with your heart. And if you are having trouble doing that, make sure to ask someone else their opinion.
Unbelievable. Thank you so much. Tyler Devereaux out in Hawaii. I can see here. That's not a virtual background, is it?
That's a real background. That's a real one. Dude, good to see you, Yona. Man, it's been forever, my man. Thanks for having me on. Tyler Devereaux, live out here in Maui, Hawaii. I am the managing partner of the Multifamily Capital Partners. That's our investment group. Also the CEO of an education company called the Multifamily Mindset. And my advice, so first off, one of my goals, one of our goals is to acquire an additional 1,500 units this year, bring our assets under management to right around 400 million. But I believe the ability to do that is by providing value. And so my other goal is to help at least 200 new people get into their first multifamily syndication deal. And so my bit of advice is to provide value. Like when I understood that, the value creation is the key to wealth creation. My life changed, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And then gratitude is another one, man. Show gratitude every day, all day. It's the greatest, most powerful emotion on the planet.
Love it. This is incredible. I mean, we've already gotten so much great advice here. I hope you guys are enjoying this. KK.
Hello, everyone. KK from Grow Rich Capital, Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've been doing this for the last 5 years. I'm invested as a LP and a GP in 4,000 doors so far. And we have been through the full cycle on about 4 properties as well. So my goal for this year, actually last year in 2021, I raised 10 million for other operators. And this year, my goal is to raise 20 million for good operators. And we did 3 deals last year, trying to do 4 deals this year. And also, my piece of advice to everyone else here is to invest in yourself before you have somebody else's money or your money invest in real estate. Thank you for having me and for the opportunity, Yona.
Awesome, KK. Listen, anyone with a beard longer than mine, I must bring on and give the honor to. So thank you. Once again, let's move it to Chad Sutton. Chad, please give us a little about yourself and what's your goal or advice for this year?
So Yona, thanks for having me back on the show. Always good to try to compete with beards, but I'm never going to compete with you, sir. So Quattro Capital, we invest in alternative assets, currently specializing in multifamily real estate across the Southeast and Texas with a hyper focus in the exploding population of renters by choice. That's a blend of workforce and pre-home ownership type rentals, right? My advice to you, something I've been working on for years and years at this point, is read a book called Who, Not How by Dan Sullivan. I think I even mentioned it on my episode with you, Yona. The whole premise of this is when you're growing and scaling and getting good at anything, figure out who the people are who can help you get there and how you can pour into them, help accomplish more together. Even if they will only do something 80% as good as you would, they're going to accomplish 5x, 10x, 50x more than you can when you build the right team. So stop thinking about how you can get it all done and stop working in your business. Start working on your business. Find the right who's to help you get there. Tyler Devereaux, good to see you, brother. That's one of my earliest mentors in the space. Love you, brother. Talk to you soon, Yona.
Amazing to see so many people connect again. So many paths crossing through this one call right here. So I'm really grateful for that. We're going to bring on Daisy and Luke, who incidentally are, I think, one of the only people on the call here whose episode hasn't aired yet, but they're going to be airing next week. So they're pretty close. So not in the first 200, but I invited them anyways because it was a great conversation. So Daisy and Luke, please give me quick, who are you and some quick advice or goals for this year.
Yeah, totally. Well, thanks for having us, Yona. And it's great to be in the room with so many awesome people here, some friends and others, new friends, I'm sure, that will come. For us, Daisy and Luke, we're a husband and wife team, and we're really hyper-focused on providing more access and education for millennials, for other millennials like us to invest in multifamily. So just excited to share the knowledge and get younger people investing earlier on.
Yeah. And thanks for having us on, Yona. This is awesome. The advice that we have as Make It Rain is to do things that scare you, really. I mean, I think life is really about growth and what you can do. And I think the more that you can grow as a person, then the more that you're able to do and the more that you can help people. So getting outside of your comfort zone and doing things that are uncomfortable is a very, very easy and quick way to be able to make progress in almost anything that you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you. And guys, make sure you check out their episode because it's going to be airing, like I said, next week. And we did something really fun for the final 4 questions we asked. We did the newlywed game. So check that out. That was actually a lot of fun. And they did extremely well. So I'm impressed by that. Brian Briscoe.
Yeah. Hey, Brian Briscoe here, partnered with Four Oaks Capital. And we are multifamily syndicators, like a lot of people in here, focusing Carolinas and Georgia. My advice is, to focus on what I call your big burning why. And I got that phrase by accidentally misquoting Stephen Covey. He talked about your big burning yes. But anyway, I took it and I ran with it. But when I came on the podcast, my big burning why was to try to exit my W-2, which in my case was retire from the military. I did that, as you can tell by the, mustache goatee. But, right now, my big burning why is I'm building this Tribe of Titans multifamily educational community along with my partners. And our why is to help as many people as possible, get their first deal and beyond. And so that's what we're working on right now. And focus on your why because, when the going gets tough, that why is going to pull you through.
Awesome. Let's jump right on. And you forgot, you're also the host of an incredible podcast, one of my favorites, called A Diary of an Apartment Investor. Guys, check that out if you guys haven't subscribed yet to that podcast. Incredible. And if you guys, anyone on this call, if you haven't had anyone on this call as one of your guests, you guys got to get on that show.
Yeah, absolutely. Any of you guys are welcome. And I know we started our podcast at the same time, and we've been neck and neck on, downloads and episodes ever since. So happy to join the journey with you.
Thank you. It's incredible to just watch that journey together. So let's move on to Chloe Cohen.
Thanks, Jonah. Hi, everyone. I'm Chloe Cohen. So I'm from New York City. I'm a real estate investor, and I primarily have started building my portfolio down in Louisville, Kentucky, because I found the Midwest to be a lot easier than New York City. And so I am on track this year to be partners on 2 hotels launching. Although I primarily invest in single family and multifamily homes only for the Airbnb method. So I call it the Brower method instead of the Burr method. You heard it here first on Yona's podcast. So the Brower method is what I do, but I've been branding hotels. And now I started a Real Deals by Chloe YouTube channel and my Instagram to help other women, but really millennials and Gen Z, to start learning how to invest in real estate as well. This year, my goal is to start my very own brand on my very own land. And Saturday night, I just got under contract for 80 acres out by the Red River Gorge. And so I will be looking for a strategic and maybe some capital partners. Right now, it's a $3 million start. And I'm really excited for this glamping site and this new idea that I'm bringing to the market. And I would say that my one advice would be to hire a mentor. It's very important to have mentorship, to be able to time manage, and to really make sure that all the balls that are in the air get executed properly. Thank you.
Amazing. Tim Kelly, bring it up.
What's up, everybody? Thanks again for having me, Yona. You're amazing, dude, bringing all these people together. So I'm Tim Kelly, Navy veteran, recently separated, also the VP of Education for Active Duty Passive Income, certified high performance coach, and mostly focusing on just growing and scaling and helping our community members in ADPI. And ADPI, we provide just life-changing financial education for military. And we, through educating, mentoring, and empowering active duty service members, veterans, and their spouses and families to reach financial freedom through creating passive income through real estate. And we want to help those who served own more of America that they've fought so hard for. Very similar to Brian, we run this military multifamily mastermind, and I'm looking to help at least 50 more members close on their first or their next deal. And my biggest piece of advice, there's so much here that I already written down, and people said gratitude. And the other thing is probably journal every single day, get out your thoughts every single day. And if not, whenever you're stuck and struggling, ask, who can I call or who can I connect with today that could help enlighten me, that could help me get to the next level. And that's where I'll leave it, man. Thanks again for having me on, brother.
Awesome. No, thank you for joining and for always your positive energy. And, it really brings to the table. So thank you so much, Tim. And I love what you guys are doing at ADPI. So guys, if you don't know what that is, check that out. Moving to Pankaj Sharma. What's going on, my friend? Long time.
Hey, man, it's been a while. It's been a couple of years, actually, but good to be here. Pankaj Sharma with SNS Properties Investment. 20 plus years, owner operator in the multifamily space. My number one goal this year is to listen to my own intuition, inner guidance, the voice of God, whatever you want to call it. But to hone that skill, to develop that skill to really listen within. And number 2 is to top physical fitness. Number 3 is to just strengthen our organization, develop the people that are in the organization. And a piece of advice, I don't really like to give advice, but in general, real estate's about patience. It's about the long-term game, and if we're giving out mission statements, my mission is to inspire, communicate, and demonstrate spiritual principles, a life lived by spiritual principles. So patience is a principle, and, real estate's a long-term game for me, in investing, the patient always win. That's all I got.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Pankaj. Let's bring up Lonnie. Lonnie, what's going on, my friend? Lonnie Wolf.
How are you, Yona? Nice to see you. Congratulations on your 200th episode. You are the godfather of what you do. So you got super props from me. You got super props from all the participants on the show today. And I love what everyone's said and what everyone's doing. I am in the hospitality space, so different than real estate, but hotel space. I was a GM at a hotel for 7 years, took the property to number 61 out of 3,200 hotels in the state of Florida on excellent guest reviews. I am now the consultant in the art of housekeeping, redefining the standard of housekeeping success one hotel at a time. My goal is to take your property, whose ever property, to number one, not number two, to number one. And I can do it. I have the results and I have the winning team to do such. My advice, one simple word: thank you. Thank your team. Thank your team upon arrival and when they excuse themselves from whatever business you do. Why I say that? In the prior property for 7 years plus, in 72 months, I had zero turnover because I thanked them upon arrival and at the end of the day. Super props. Great to see everybody.
Thank you, Lonnie. Let's move on to Tim Vitale. What's going on, my friend? Bring it up.
Hey, Yona, thanks for having me. Super excited to be here. Tim Vitale, Wilmington, North Carolina. I own Upside Capital, and we're multifamily syndicators in the Southeast. Most of our assets are in the Carolinas, Georgia, and Alabama. One of my scariest goals for me as a newer syndicator in the space is to hire my first executive assistant this year. Already working 12 hours a day again around the clock. And, from advice from my mentors, like other people have said in here, was to, find the right who for the how. And finding the who of an executive assistant is going to help me move my business forward. And the only piece of advice that I have that has worked successfully for me, and, kind of a mantra that I live my life by, is to provide value to other people with no expectation of return. If you can help impact or influence or change one person's life with your actions or your words, then in my opinion, that's the only way to live a fulfilled life. And I think that that's everyone's duty in this world, is to help others with no expectation of getting anything back.
Awesome. Let's move it on to Nick Moore, because I'm probably being billed for the time that he's on here right now. And
slow down. What's up, brother? Appreciate you having me on, and good to see all of you. I know many of you personally. I've been on a couple of the other podcasts in here. As recently as last night, I got to spend a few minutes with Brian Briscoe and mix it up with his group, and that was amazing. Apparently, he had a really high turnout. That's all credit to him, none me. But this year, I haven't really sat down to mark up the goals because I'm still servicing my goals from last year. So I'm a commercial real estate attorney and also focus in private equity, fund of funds, anything that really involves income producing real estate. I have my hands in. I got a sharp mind, a lot of energy, as I've seen many of you bring, and I love it. And I bring it to law, which is unusual, right? So bringing some personality to it has distinguished me, I think, from many of my peers here at Robinson Franzman. But my goal for 22 is to hire and continue to hire. I love what Chad said, and he kind of kicked it off. And as a couple of us have touched on, the who for the how. But I like the hire to your weakness. Everybody on here, we're so capable. We're such doers that sometimes we, maybe shy away from our weakness, or conversely, we try to attack it and then switch focus from things that we're better at and maybe should be spending our time focusing on, and bringing in talent that can really forge, a comprehensive strategy and solution for what your business is. You can really never go wrong. And I've experienced that taking that leap of faith and putting yourself out there to take care of another and their family to help perpetuate your strategy with the best intentions pays the highest dividends for everybody. So take that leap of faith, invest in others, they'll invest in you. And with that, all the thanks in the world, Yona. I wish I was at NMHC this weekend. I'll be at Michael Blanc's boot camp next week, talking syndications and all the fun real estate stuff. So if you guys need anything, particularly you guys in the Southeast, give me a ring.
You got it. Awesome, Nick. Thanks so much. Moving right along, Matt Picheni.
Hey, Yona, I want to wish you congratulations and mazel tov on 200 amazing episodes of advice. And, this is great to see so many people on here who are a lot of people that I know and respect giving advice again. So I think this is a tremendous thing that you're doing. My name is Matt Picheni, your backstage guide to passive investing. I'm a real estate investor, syndicator, author, and a Tony Award winner. My advice that I would give to people also ties in with my goal, which we've heard other people talking about to one extent or another today, which is about providing value. And so what I'm looking forward to doing this year is I have my book coming out, which has some great advice and information from really basic concepts to more complex ones like air rights and 1031 exchanges, and putting content like that on YouTube, in social media channels, on a blog, and just trying to provide value for people regardless of where they are in their real estate journey. And I think it's great advice for other people to do as well. I'll just echo, a lot of people said something like that, but I think Tim's was the most poignant to me as giving something out, not expecting anything back in return.
Oh, love that so much. Thank you so much. And congratulations to you on the launch of your book recently. Michael Plax, please give a quick introduction and a quick goal or advice for our listeners.
Okay, thanks, Yona. Thanks, everybody on the call. I'm a real estate accountant. So what I do is I minimize taxes for real estate investors, and I've done it for 25 years, which apparently is longer than some of you lived on this planet, according to some introductions. So been doing it for a long time and saving money for you instead of the guy behind who is social distancing there looking for your money. As far as advice, I just celebrated my first anniversary of watching absolutely no news. And that's what I recommend everybody does. Stop watching the news and spend the time that you free up on something productive and enjoyable, maybe watching Yona's podcast.
Love that. That's awesome advice. Thank you so much, Michael. Stephen Lippman, give us your advice.
Congrats on 200 amazing episodes. I was just looking through all these amazing guests you have on here and all the knowledge bombs that have been dropped. I mean, you do a great job of finding great guests. So my name is Stephen Lippman. I own Integrity Holdings Group. We have about $150 million in properties under management, with another $200 million slated so far for 2022. So growing pretty quickly. And it's all due to great networks, great mentorship. If I had to give you guys a piece of advice, it would be this. They say it's better to give than receive. If you don't believe it, try it. Right. So get outside of your comfort zone. Our whole episode that Yona and I spoke about was on the power of this business in relationship to what it will allow you to give away. Anybody that tells you money can't buy happiness hasn't given enough of it away. So we have a donor advised fund. We are giving away multiple seven figures this year through nonprofits and through our donor advised fund. And I'll tell you, there's been no better level of success that can be measured than the number of people that you can impact with the money that is created from this business. So everybody talks about your why, what your purpose is. And if you whittle it down, I think a lot of us have a similar heart for helping other people and giving back. And this is a tangible way through a donor advised fund that you can start today. You can take 1% of your total income and put it through a donor advised fund and start giving it away. Grow to 2%, grow to 3%, grow to 20%, grow to 80%, which is our BHAG, is our big, hairy, audacious goal, is to give 80% of our company net profits away through our donor advised fund. So I encourage you guys to take that advice to heart, which is give till it hurts. Try to be abundant in what you can give, and those blessings will continue to follow you around.
That's right. I love that. And I love that you reiterated that. We definitely went into that. So you guys want to hear in more detail of what Steve talked about on the Weiss Advice podcast, go check that out. Let's move on to Omar Khan, who was a little latecomer here and one of our most popular, I think the only one here. Actually, no, we just had John Aspirian just jumped in, but we have two of the top 5 most downloaded episodes right here.
Oh, that was only because you put such a clickbaity headline, Jonah. But that was not because of me. That was because of you. Okay, but hey, first of all, congratulations and mazel tov. As an earlier guest said, 200 episodes, that's a big thing, man. Most people kind of try and they, a lot of podcasts start and then they kind of wither away. And you've been consistently, putting your money where your mouth is. So that's awesome. That speaks highly to not just your professionalism, but your character. Because, it's a slog, right? It's not easy to do this. My best advice is for people to keep listening to Yona's show. I picked up a lot of nuggets a lot of times when people show up. Even if you think you know a lot of things, there's always a little thing somebody did, a perspective somebody had. And that can make all the difference, because a lot of times it's not big moves, but it's small pivots, basically, that you make along the way. The goals are still the same as earlier, continue doing good deals, work with our partners and investors to basically just keep, the momentum going. That's basically the big ticket item. And I'm very glad I'm here, and thank you for the invite.
Thank you, Omar. I'm so happy that you made it. And to our second of our top 5, John Aspirian, who also joined us a little late. Please tell us a little bit in 5 seconds or less. No, I'm just kidding. 10 seconds. You have 10. Go for it, John.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. Sorry I'm joining a bit late, but congratulations on reaching 200. I think I was episode 62. We had good fun together. And okay, so if we're sharing tips, I mean, just get more involved in DMs. That's where all my business is coming from. Like almost all my business is coming from LinkedIn. Almost all of that business is coming from conversations in the direct messages. So, send voice notes, send personal videos, do the things that don't scale, because that's just how you build relationships, and that's been spectacularly successful for me. So I encourage people to get involved and send more personal DMs.
There you go. And thank you to our only UK guest ever, I think, so far in the thing. So thank you again, John. And we asked guests to before they said their advice, to say just a quick sentence of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a content writer, but I've become more known for LinkedIn experiments. I help people optimize their LinkedIn presence so they can earn a bit more money and get a bit more visibility. So I call myself relentlessly helpful LinkedIn nerd. So if you want some latest advice on best practice, then I hope you get some value from my content. And I've got a weird surname, so I'm pretty easy to find. So come and look me up and let's have a chat.
There you go. And I've learned a tremendous amount from John. So definitely check out his content. Moving right along to Daniel Hommeland, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Daniel Hommeland, and congratulations, Yona, on the 200th episode. That is quite a feat. So my name is Daniel Hommeland from Good Samaritan Capital. We're a multifamily investment firm with about 1,700 units, and we do have a 1-year goal, but our 7-year goal is to help 100 families reach financial freedom in 7 years. And we're also from the Real Estate Investing for Busy Professionals Network, where we train people to start their own thought leadership programs by creating an REI club at their place of work. And our goal this year is to help 10 people do that. And so my advice is to create a mindset of abundance and to invest well, to live and to give abundantly.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Daniel. Let's move on to Yosef. Lee, bring it on.
Hello, Yona. Thank you for having me here, and congratulations for the 200th episode. I know some of you, but not most of you. I still consider myself to be a newbie, South Korean immigrant, believer, father, lawyer, multifamily apartment investor, status quo hater, call myself entrepreneur wannabe. My vision is to achieve freedom and control of TPO, that's time, place, and occurrence, through apartment investing by creating passive income streams, and eventually help others to achieve the same and making impacts to their lives. My advice, usually this is for newbies, so it's not probably applicable here, but I call it ENA. Never stop educating yourself and surround yourself with high performers, like-minded investors through networking, and take actions that make you uncomfortable. Challenge yourself to come out of the comfort zone consistently. Consistency always wins, and fall in love with the process. And again, I'm very grateful and honored to be here with all these amazing guests. And thank you for having me, Yona.
I'm so glad that I'm recording this, because I can't possibly take all of this in all at once. So we're going to have to go back and listen to this again and again, because so many great nuggets here, including yours, Yosef. Thanks so much. We're going to move to Nicole, who's one of the others who is also, episode has not yet launched, but is going to be out soon. So you guys look out for that. Nicole Gante, please come on the mic.
Yeah, thank you, Yona, for having us today. I'm really excited to be here. I am founder of Wicked Holdings, which is a real estate investment company that's focused on social impact investing and empowering others through advancing financial literacy skills. I'm looking to help get more people passively invested, to forge ahead and on the path to financial freedom and financial independence, like one of our main goals, right? One of my goals this year is to begin a new development project that I had previously started. I want to, continue on and learn more, lead my first GP deal, and invest in my first Airbnb. So a lot of firsts there. Advice to keep going and to keep providing value to others, to always consistently pursue growth, and to extend a helping hand without any expectations of anything in return. Thank you.
Thank you. And let's move to Ferd Neiman. Ferd, who is also an attorney. So I hope he's not billing us, because he's been waiting for a while.
Thanks, Jonah. No, I'm not billing you. Also, fellow podcaster, you give me something to look up to. I've got my podcast, the Mobile Home Park Lawyer Podcast. Got a law firm that focuses on real estate, but with a real focus on mobile home parks. Also have a mobile home park investment business. We just launched a fund for that. We've done a lot of syndications as well. We're here in Kansas City. Advice, I think for me, I mean, a lot of good nuggets have already been shared. I'll mix a few of them. Is I like to try to spend more and more time in my thinking chair. And I kind of came up with that listening to some other mentors. And if you calculate what your effective hourly rate is, you can realize, like for me, billing somebody $400 an hour is not my most effective hourly rate. Thinking chair is my most effective hourly rate. And through that, you learn to replace yourselves, which requires hiring people, before you're comfortable hiring more people. I've hired 15 people this year to keep up with the work and probably hire more in the coming year. And part of the reason we're able to do that is somebody mentioned provide value and give stuff away for free. Yona does a ton of that on LinkedIn and on his podcast. I try to emulate some of that from watching him and give away lots of stuff for free, lots of content for free. And then what do you know? Some people call you and offer to pay after that. So spending time in the thinking chairs where you can come up with ideas like that. And then I love what Steven said about giving back. We've got a donor advice fund as well, and don't have the kind of numbers in it that he's putting out right now, but that's inspiring. And it is kind of motivating to start with the why, especially when you do reach that financial freedom and you don't need the money. Why do you keep going into work every day? Why do you keep working so much? And that's what's important, is to really understand your why.
Absolutely. And just to segue into that, literally conversation, what you just said, Ferd, is what Esty and I just spoke about yesterday. So Esther, who's the only one here who's brave enough to actually be at the same conference as me, the NMHC, and maybe she can find a quiet corner and share.
Yeah, there's no quiet corners here, so I hope you all hear me. And I couldn't really hear everyone else, but I heard something about goals. So my goal for this year is to continue pushing. We're hitting $1 billion assets under management soon. So pushing towards that. I'm looking to help more people raise equity, help find equity, help sponsors, help investors on all ends, and have fun doing it.
There you go. And that's exactly the point. Enjoy what you do, love what you do, and you never work a day in your life. So thank you for joining from the live. Let's move to Bernard Reese.
Hello, Yona, and hello to all the familiar faces. So many folks here that I've interacted with personally, and many others that I've certainly seen and come across, even if we haven't spoken one-on-one. What I'm probably most known for is self-directed retirement accounts, but deliver a range of investor tax tools, 1031 exchanges. My passion, though, is investor tax education, which is about getting past the tools and really learning how to use them optimally. Real estate has so many great tax tools, but they can be used smarter, they can be optimized, and there are also some pitfalls to watch out for. To further that goal, I've recently started a free member space, talk about all sorts of tax and financial tools. It runs the gamut, services that I do deliver, services that we don't deliver. It's really just to get past the superficial, both the opportunity in the microcosm of tax tools and in the macrocosm of life. The opportunities and the pitfalls lie in getting past the superficial. And that would be my tip to folks. So many of us, we look at our areas of expertise and we see how getting past the sound bites, getting past the most superficial layers is what helps us create value. And I say, take that perspective, apply it to life in general, but look at the big picture stuff and apply that skill set to everything we do.
Thank you so much, Bernard, for that perspective. And Crystal, I think, we do have a few more people who haven't joined yet, but Crystal, back at also another episode that is about to air. So check it out when it does go live, I think this week or next week.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Yona. Just knowing you makes people think I'm better at my job than maybe I am. I really appreciate it. I work marketing for commercial real estate, so I'm more on the back end of things, the development side of things. And, there have been some really wonderful pieces of advice. I could jump on the kindness tip, be good to other human beings, really, in general. But I guess my piece of advice and something I need to do more this year is to hone and grow the skills that I already have. It's very easy to want to start something brand new or learn something brand new. but there's really no ceiling to knowledge. So we all have a skill set right now, and we haven't hit the ceiling for that skill set. So I really plan on just doing what I do now better.
Perfect. And last, looks like, but certainly not least, Lee Yoder. I believe you're the last one on the call, unless anyone joins from between now and then. But Lee, please take it away.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Yona. With the last name like Yoder, I'm used to being the last one called in school and all that. So no problem there. Pleasure to be here. I'm Lee Yoder, founder and CEO of Threefold Real Estate Investing. We buy multifamily apart with ordinary people to create passive income here in the Midwest. This year I felt God leading me to just focus on today a little bit more and not live so much in the future. I think probably a lot of us have that. I'm just always planning, scheming, always thinking about what's next. My wife got me a great book. I'm still reading it, but this, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer has been really good so far. And one thing, this is like really simple, but I'm sure you guys have heard it. I don't know who to credit this to, but the time blocking. I'm trying to do more of that this year and really stick to that. And that's been very helpful for me to focus on whatever I've set that time block to be for. And other stuff comes in, messages coming in, emails coming in. If it's not a time block for that, I can't focus on that. And then even pulling that in my personal life. So, hey, this time block is for my kids. It's got to be all for my kids. I'll get back to work later when the kids go down or something like that. So very simple, but time blocking has been really big for me. So I would suggest you guys do that as well.
Unbelievable. And like I said, I'm so glad that we recorded this because there's so much great advice. There's so many incredible people. And I'm grateful for you, Lee, for joining, all you guys for taking the time, and for everyone who's watching this live. You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching this. And thank you all for those of you who stuck around all the way to the end because this is it. I didn't think everyone joined. I did invite 200 people, but only 50 or so showed up. So I'm glad that you guys were able to do it. And I'm glad I was able to do this being live at one of the biggest conferences of the year. So I'm going to jump back to that. But got whoa, right at the end. We got to go until 2 because I did say we're going to be going from 1 to 2. So we got John Kasman, who just joined, and I'm going to bring him on to give his advice as soon as he connects to audio. So this is last, but certainly not least. We got my man, John Kasman. Please give a short introduction to yourself and share one goal or piece of advice to our listeners.
Yeah, the dude who shows up with 5 minutes left. Name's John Kasman, based in Cincinnati, a multifamily investor. Was just on a asset management call that ran really long, so apologies for jumping on late. But one piece of advice is to take action. I mean, there's so many great people on here, and I wanted to, even though it was only a few minutes, there's so many great people in here. And one thing everyone has in common is taking action. There's great information out there. A lot of the people on here host meetups, podcasts. We've all been podcast guests, which is why you've invited us. But taking action on the information, and don't feel like you got to climb the whole mountain or do every single thing. But what is the next step you can take to get forward in your business? And sometimes that's listening to a podcast. Sometimes it's underwriting a deal. Sometimes it's going to a networking event. Sometimes it's, telling a broker what your deal criteria is. But figure out what that is and just take action and let the action continue to build on top of each other until you get the results you're looking for.
There you go. Awesome. Love that, John. And I'm so glad that everyone stayed on until the end. And I'll wrap it up again, although we will kind of wind down for another couple minutes in case we have another latecomer. But thank you all for joining. And thank you all listeners for listening. Again, we could not have this podcast without you. And even though Brian Briscoe mentioned before, we started around the same time, and you know what it's like getting all those downloads and checking and, trying not to check, but getting all the incredible feedback. Thank you all. If you haven't left a 5-star review on Apple or Podchaser, you can now do that on every single episode, like Esty has done dozens of times. Every single episode, you can actually leave a written review on Podchaser. Really cool app, a great platform over there. So check that out. If you particularly like one episode or your own episode, you're like, hey, I like this one. This was really good. So you guys can go and do that. And for you guys who are our listeners, again, thank you again. I could not do this without you. And thank you to all the guests who joined us and shared so much incredible, impactful, hopefully, if you take it to heart, advice and goals that we can all relate to. I'm going to end it out by just saying, like we say, every single episode, remember that the best advice comes only when you ask. Real quick, I have one question for you. Did you like this episode? If you did, I want to ask you a huge favor. See, the biggest thing that helps this podcast grow and that will spread this message to the whole world is that if you leave a review, a rating, and subscribe to the podcast. What that does is it basically tells the platforms that this podcast is out on is that you like my stuff and I'm doing something right. So take a few seconds out of your day, hit that subscribe button, leave a rating or review. I would be extremely grateful. Also, I want to hear from you guys. So I want to hear some feedback. If you have any questions for future episodes, please find me on LinkedIn. Send me a DM, a connection request, Yona Weiss, and I'd love to hear from you.